Yeah. See, my question was, I understand this training program is for 5 months. Okay. So how long should individual, dedicatedly time required so that they can complete your training, understand, implement, and be prepared for the interview, so that everybody could get a fair idea. As in, if in case I can spare so much of time or so many months, that I can be in the good organization, like how Rabi has got good offers. Right? If somebody can give us some good insights here, you or Rabi, so that
Okay.
will really help
So Ravi,
others also.
yeah. So we want to hear from you, okay? Because if I tell, then I can say 1 month, right? But Ravi, tell us something like how much time it took for you to crack this job after the day you started your program. We understand that you were a little bit, off here and there. We understand, but we want to hear it from you.
I would say max to max 4 to 5 months. That's what I can say. The way the things right in terms of preparation for interview as well as day-to-day activities perspective. So I was like I have taken 2020 in mid and post that again I was off and a couple of days due to my personal issues and post that again I was so it's I would say max to max 5 months. Once you are dedicatedly keep whatever the course which is available and you complete it, then if you practice it well, then 5 months is more than enough to crack this particular offer. Even I would say it's kind of if you are even middle of it, couple of things you can attend the interviews. Then uh, prior you can get some kind of experience for how the questions are coming in terms of interview perspective as well as you can at least you one or two interviews if you can face it, then you can understand how the pattern is going on. Based on that, you can prepare well after completion of interview after completion of course. If you start your preparation, then it could be a problem because at the time again you are wasting time. So one thing I would say, so once 4 months of course is completed, from there onwards if you start attending the interviews, so initial days it will be bit tough in terms of interviews perspective. One or two you may get rejected because the way you explain the things, the way you given based on again it depends upon the experience perspective. Suppose if you ask me, first interview itself I got succeeded because I'm having enough experience in terms of this particular interview facing all those things. If you are a fresher, then it's a complete different story. If you are an experienced person, it's a complete different story. So I would say 5 months is more than enough to get these offers. I dedicated max to max 5 months. That's it. That is my thing which I can say. It's my personal experience. Again, it depends upon how much you are going to keep it, how much effort you can keep it in on day to day. So whenever it's a weekend batch which I have taken from Suraj, and whatever the 3 hours which we got it over the weekend, 6 hours out of it actually over the in the weekdays I have prepared actually the way he has teach right all the things notes, and I have taken important notes in again in personal notebook and into preparation perspective, all the things. It's a kind of again, it's a completely you need to make a note of it. What are the important things in terms of architecture perspective as well as programming perspective and Hive perspective, and what are the even one of the thing which I would suggest whatever the Spark interview questions which is available in the OLC portal, right? That is also most important because. If you at least if you are good at it and at least 100 to 120 questions, that's more than enough to crack any interview. The common pattern which is going to be like this way actually for Spark performance tuning as well as architecture as well as the coding perspective and this Scala and Hive perspective. Majorly they will ask like what are the optimization techniques, what are the joins which is like other than normal joins like inner join and self join and all those things.
True.
It's a regular thing, but when it comes to performance part, map join, sort match join, all those things it matters actually. So you need to understand much more about detail and as well as you need to prepare well in terms of interview perspective. So I would suggest you can go through Spark interview questions thing in OLC. Spark, interview questions which we have a separate module, right? If you can go through that module, that's more than enough.
Great.
The
So,
common pattern, if you want me to tell here, I can tell that. Actually.
yeah, please go ahead. Please go ahead.
Yeah, majorly they will expect Spark architecture and performance tuning. And once you have given a project, if you are from since like scratch from if you are starting scratch that particular project. So what are the things you are going to take care of it, and how you are going to write the Spark Hive code, and what are the optimization techniques which you are going to do, as well as Scala perspective, how best you are going to utilize the Scala in terms of like Scala. Majorly, they'll not ask all the things. It's like a programming perspective. Majorly, they ask written questions. Couple of things like a couple of companies which I faced, EPAM as well as Fractal Analytics. Majorly, they before attending any interview, right? First, they will conduct a written test, and if you are succeeding in that particular thing, then only they will take an interview. So Scala as well as Spark and SQL, these are the things which majorly they focus on in terms of interviews perspective. Majorly, when it comes to Fractal Analytics, one of the things which I see is kind of majorly they go with the DS algos, or not DS, sorry, data structures. Majorly they go with, as well as SQL perspective.
Okay.
So I would suggest SQL also equally important.
Yeah. So Ravi, we want one more help from you. That is, if you could, upload all the interview questions in our interview question section, whenever you are free, that would be really a great help to all the people who are actually taking up our program. So Ravi, I was asking you, I was telling you if it would be a great help if you can upload all the interviews questions, whatever you have faced in all these companies, right? Maybe company wise in our OLC interview question portal, then it would be a really great help for all the, next joiners.
Sure, Suraj, I'll do that.
Great. Okay. Now, anybody has any questions, please, you can unmute yourself and talk. We will be definitely happy to help you.
Yeah. Hi, Suraj. This is Ravi. So, Ravi, I have one question. So, I see you have actually explained you already have a automation background. So coming to the Scala part, I'm from a Java and .NET background, so I have taken the course from Suraj for Scala, but I see Scala is kind of a bit complicated for me. I'm facing certain issues over there to even write little logic also. So I just wanted to know how long you how much preparation did you do in solving the problems using Scala, especially, so that you were confident enough to write the program in Notepad++ without seeing anything.
Yeah, in terms of that, actually, initially it will be difficult, Ratish, and you need to practice it as much as you can. But at a later point of time, it will be easy. And once you understand the content and how it is working behind it, so that will take time. First, max to max, it is going to take 15 days to 1 month. It's a bit difficult. Post that, you can go ahead and you can understand much more about it.
For solving, did you mostly took the Suraj has already a great set of questions in DS and Algo. So were you trying to solve most of them, or is it did you follow some other platforms also?
So I can answer you this. We have started this DSN Algo very recently.
I followed HackerRank.
Right. So we have started this DSN Algo recently, and the only reason was we just want to make sure that whatever you are learning, maybe you are learning Java from us, maybe you're learning Scala from us, we want you to implement that, solving some of the, let's say, how do you do a sorting, a quick sort or heap sort or merge sort, right? So when you start implementing it using Scala or Java, your approach or your way of looking into the programming language would be much more easier. And that is the whole agenda. We have started this DSN Algo, a separate group where we do a lot of problem solving stuff, right? So all the people put the problem together and we solve it together.
Yes, Suraj. So last week I had an interview, and the way after previously whenever I was solving the problem, I saw there was a bit of lag because I didn't have much knowledge into this data structure and algorithms. So I was directly trying to solve the problem using the lists and maps, whichever are there in that library. I'm trying to solve them, but I was never looking in the perspective how the problem should be approached. After looking into the data structure and basically the algorithms from Abdul Wari, that changed a little bit of perspective. Yeah, it's Right.
Yeah. So slowly, it will take some time. It takes some time to, develop that habit of solving the problem without using the light duties. And I'm sure, we will be doing that, right? We are going to solve a lot of problems so that you are ready for the product-based companies for sure.
Thanks, Ravi. Thanks very much.
All right. Anybody else wants to ask anything? Feel free to.
Hello, Suraj. Is Feroz here?
Yeah.
So either you or Ravi can answer this. So I have experience of around 10.5 years. So I'm just working as a product manager now in my company. So I haven't worked on this big data ever previously, but I am just continuously working on Java right now. So I wanted to ask, like, how I can switch from that stream to the big data stream, since I already have a 10 plus years of experience. So what kind of justification I can give in my resume, since I haven't previously worked on that. So I just wanted to know on that perspective. So let's
see, what we are going to do is at OLC, we will be taking care of every small stuff, whatever you need to become a great data engineer, right? So since I have been working on data engineering since last 8 years, I'm sure once you're done with this program, you should be happily able to put anywhere around 3, 4, 5 years of experience in data engineering platform. Okay, so the amount of programming you are going to do, the amount of stuff you are going to solve, right? So that will help you to improve yourself. And since you are already from Java background, trust me, it will be really a good help, right? So you already know Java. So Scala is another brother of Java. You write the code and it gets compiled into bytecode, and then the same bytecode would be executed by the JVM.
Yeah. So, and also I have taken already over 45 hours of course, and I just passed it around 3 to 4 months back. Okay. So I had a little bit of hiccups only in my resume perspective itself. So I'm just ready to go with, because I already know Java. So I'm just comfortable in taking Scala, and I also know the basics of Python also. So I'm comfortable with PySpark or Scala also. Okay. So I'm just worried about, since I have already beyond 10 years of experience. So if I go outside the market and attend the interview, so the people expectation from the big companies would be more, because I already have an experience. So I don't know how I need to give justification. For example, Ravi was telling they will give a scenario to do a Spark optimization or this memory optimization. So I don't have an answer for this because I haven't worked on that yearly before. And as soon as the experience increases, they ask, they want a perfect guy, so that they must know everything actually. Yes, so I'm just very much worried about it actually, really to say.
I understand. So see, you don't have to worry about it, because at OLC, we want you to prepare in such a way that you don't have to, look out anywhere else, right? Otherwise, what is the point? Like, we get a lot of students from many, many platforms saying that I've already taken a course here and there and whatnot, right? So at the end of the day, some one or other way, they are not able to make it because of some reason, right? And then I've been doing this, the biggest advantage would be whatever I'm doing at work, I create that as a POC and I give it to you to solve. So likewise, for the period of time, you would be mastering this Scala like anything.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Suraj.
All right. Anybody else wants to ask anything, guys?
Hey, hi, Suraj. This is Sam.
Okay.
Hello, sir. Actually, I completed third year BTech. I learned C, C++, and now I'm learning Python. What are your suggestions to me for this D1 and D2 program?
Okay. So since you are in third year, right?
I'm interested in data engineering.
So since you are in third year program, I would suggest you to take up my free course. As a fresher, the free course is absolutely fine, because I really don't want to make a lot of money out of you guys from the freshers. And trust me, 99.99% or say 100% of our students are actually working professionals only. Okay, because today you are interested in data engineering, you have 1 more year to go, you prepare this 45 hours of program, and I can give you a guarantee that you will be able to crack any company in terms of data engineering freshers, and they do not have a lot of expectations from you. So I would suggest you stick to my 45 hours of free program, and that should help you anyways. You don't really have to take up a paid program anytime, because in next 1 year you may change your dream to become something else. So focus more on logic building. Logic building is very important. Try to solve a lot of problems so that you can sit for good companies, right? And eventually learn the basic fundamental of data structure. That should be okay. So let me take up somebody else's question. Anybody wants to ask us anything?
Yeah.
Hello.
Go
Hi.
ahead, everyone. Yeah.
Yeah, hello. Hi, this is Krishnendu.
Yes.
I have basically already completed your 45 hours course. So I am a pass out student of 2020. So currently I'm working as a data engineer in one of the financial firm. So in our firm, we generally work in data warehouse techniques, majorly in ETL. So I am just confusing. How could I know that whether I should have interest in data science or data engineering? I know that if you have a knowledge of in the full stack of data engineering, that would be better. But how could I decide that is data engineering is good for me or not? So can you please guide me with this?
So to be honest, you have asked me the most difficult question, right? Because it's very difficult for us to guide you. What is your interest? You have to decide this, okay? And nobody else can actually help you in this perspective, right? So what I can suggest you is try to start, since you have told me that you have already completed 45 hours of program, right?
Yeah.
So try to take up some basic data science course also from some centers, but don't take a paid program unless you don't understand what exactly you want to do, right? Because at the end of the day, many people are spending a lot of money just to explore that it is not their cup of tea, right? By the time you realize your half of 1 to 2 lakhs of money is gone, right? So don't do that. So learn it from a website, learn it from YouTube, learn it from some short-term courses which are free, and then you try to understand what excites you. Okay. Now, from payment point of view, see, data engineers, data scientists, both of them more or less get same salary. Okay, because of the vacuum, we do not have a great data engineers because all the freshers who wants to take data science, they don't want to learn it. They don't know about data engineering. Nobody tells them about data engineering. So because there is a big vacuum, which is actually advantage for people like us, right? Because there are no people to work and we have to do, and we get paid really more, right? And
exactly.
Other thing is data science has less, I would say demand than supply, because everybody is learning data, everybody is learning data in the science, right? So the demand is less, supply is very more, very much, like very high, right? So in that case, it is really tough for people to even make it up, right? But then if you see the data engineering, the scenario is completely different. Supply is very less, demand is high, supply is very less. So I think you can take this advantage of this concept. Supply is less, demand is high. Why not to take that chance?
Yeah, sure. Understand your point. And one more question I have. Another thing I just want to know that in majority of the many firm like Expedia or like United Health Group, they also basically have a bifurcation of the post in data science domain, like product analyst. There is a post called data analyst and data science. So I just want to know one more thing, that should I have to have a very good coding skill in order to excel in data engineering domain? I mean, if I really wanted to I have a really interest in business domain, but I don't leave the data science field. So I just want to know that how could I capitalize my business acumen in data science field? So I just want to know that if coding is really much necessary to excel in the field of data engineering. So can you please guide me in this part?
Okay. So see, coding is important everywhere. No matter you are an engineer or no matter you are a data scientist or no matter you are a Java developer. Because today you are working in a company, tomorrow you want to get into product-based companies, right? And unless and until you don't leave the field of engineering, right? So let's say if you want to be a product analyst and all, then probably you don't really need to have a good understanding on coding, right? Probably, right? But you say I want to stick to the and we want to basically, and just a minute, let me mute people. Okay, so so once you feel that you have you want to get into data engineering roles or such roles where you need little bit of coding hands-on and all, right? So coding is definitely required, because see, even if you want to create a machine learning model or AI, right? So it's not like you will just be using library. So exactly. Think about it. A guy who cannot write a code, how can he develop an AI system? Possibly not practical.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly. Yeah.
The hello world everybody can write in Python or Scala or Java, right? But the company is not about it. The requirement is not all about writing a hello world program.
Yeah. Okay. Exactly.
When we look into the real requirement, in the real requirement, you will see that there are a lot of companies who are actually going to pay you really good salary, but they want a hands-on guide, right? So it is up to us if we want to do a job that demands something on coding. Probably, let's say if I'm a technical architect, then I may not write a lot of code. But again, if my team is stuck, then I have to go and look and debug and sit together with them to solve the problem. And then if I don't understand code, then like I cannot really help them a lot, right?
Exactly.
So
exactly.
I would say first check it out. What excites you more? Do you want to be in the coding? Like, do you want to be in this engineering field, or you want to move away out of it? And if you see you want to move away out of it, no point of learning this stuff. And if you feel no, I want to stick to this engineering field, probably as a technical architect, not doing a coding, but that's okay. But still, you should learn, like the whole stuff.
Yeah. Exactly. Okay. Yeah, got your point. Yeah, and last thing, I just basically last thing that what do you think about that? Some of the company are basically, opening the product analyst role or data analyst role. So I mean, for the product analyst role or the data analyst role, is it really necessary to have the business acumen part along with the coding? So do you have any idea regarding this part?
For product analyst, but to be very honest, you really don't need to have a coding skills, right? Because most of the time your job would be how do you think and build the product better, right? So you would be more or less like I would say a product guy, right? So who owns the product and who comes up with the idea, not implementation. Implementation is none of your business, right? So you would basically focus on how do I make this product more better? What are the features I should basically look into?
Yeah. And same for the data analyst, right? For the data analyst, I need some basic visualization tool and along with Python, right?
Yeah. So basically, see, when you guys talk to the developers, like developer like us, we do not have a domain knowledge, right? We don't understand stuff, right? And then it is the product analyst, it is basically the business analyst, the folks who actually sits with us and tells us what exactly is the domain, right? So they are experts on a particular domain and they help us to write the code through and check all the test cases, all the scenarios, so that the product can be delivered perfectly.
Okay, yeah, got it. Understand. Yeah, thanks a lot. Yeah, thanks, Suraj.
Yeah. Okay, next.
Hi, Suraj, I Ravi. This is Parashuram.
Okay,
I have a question regarding the interview experience of Ravi. Okay, I have a question that regarding the SQL knowledge. Okay, is it SQL knowledge is mandatory to crack the interviews, or is it okay not to have SQL knowledge?
I would say SQL is the most important thing, no matter what kind of developer you are. Okay, even if you are a PHP developer, a Java developer, because see, at the end of the day, we all deal with data in one or other way, right? It's not so SQL is very, very important. No matter what are you going to do, even if you are a Java developer, the data would be stored in database, and you need to write some SQL query to fetch the data from the database.
Yep. Thanks, Suraj.
So SQL is most important. We cannot really ignore it because every company uses Hive. Every company uses one or other SQL stuff. There is a database in every company. You need to have a SQL knowledge. All right. Next.
Hi, Suraj, Satyati here.
Yeah.
So hi. So I am already working as a big data developer in the current organization, and currently I am serving my notice period. But I don't have much sound knowledge in Spark and Scala. But so wanted to know how I can utilize this 3 months notice period and appear for the other interviews. Anyway, I'm planning to take this DA2 course, but still, even if I take it, it will take like 5 months. So will I be able to crack within 3 months any other companies if I appear for the interview?
I see. So see, in the next 3 months, when we start the program, right? So in the next 3 months, you will be an expert in Scala because we'll be focusing more majorly on Scala in this 3 months of time, right? So by that time, you would be really good at Scala, but then we will need some more time to complete our Spark, right? So what you could probably do right now would be to keep trying, because you are in a notice period, and keep trying wherever you can. Try to attend a lot of interviews. And I'm sure as you start learning a lot of Scala, by the end of 2 months or 2.5 months, you will be pro in Scala, right? Because we have an exclusive course of 60 hours. And that can help you probably in solving, like some of the problems at good companies. And let us see what exactly comes for you that time. Okay. But then even if you could not crack it, let's say any company, because you have just learned Scala from me and then our Spark is not yet started. So even if you join whatever company you are going to join, I'm sure it is going to help you a lot in surviving in the company, because now by the time your like KT starts and all this induction program and 3 months probation period is over, you will have a complete idea about Spark, Scala, and other stuff, right? So this is going to definitely help you in your growth once you are in the company.
All right. So I see the DE2 is starting it on June 20th, right? So it will take probably like 5 months to complete.
Yes.
So okay. So do we have any material or something kind of stuff which help me like for temporary basis to attend any interviews and crack it?
So what you could probably do is go to our interview question section and then upload your interview questions. We will get that reviewed on a rotation on a timely basis, and we'll give you access to all the 200 companies interview questions on all the big data technologies. And probably that can help you to understand what are the questions people are asking in the interview, and you can prepare on your own by the time for the timing.
Okay. And how about the coding perspective, Suraj? Because I'm really concerned about the coding theory part. Yeah, we can we can stay for some time and we can study, but the coding part, some of the other point we'll just get caught, right? We have to prove ourselves.
For coding, you have to learn it from the coders, right? So now when you start with our program, we will be doing all the coding stuff. We'll be solving a lot of logical questions that will take you ahead, right? But right now, in a short term, we do not have anything as such.
Yeah. Okay.
So by the time your course is over, you will get a lot of hands-on. You will be solving a lot of problems. You will be better at coding than what you are currently right now.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So let's move on. Next question, guys. Hurry up. We have to.
I have a question for you. My name is Arun.
Yeah.
Okay. See, I understand, right? What you're doing right now is really a good job. So, is there a way that we can also fast track this course instead of completing it in 5 months, along with this training? Could we also fast track it, while having some previous recordings or something?
No, we will not be able to do that. The reason is because all the previous recordings were, screen shared session. Okay. But now it is a whiteboard. This is my whiteboard.
Correct. Okay.
So that's the reason we are not giving access to our previous recorded session, because at the end of the day, we have to free the spaces in our cloud wherever these videos are stored, right?
Videos are stored, yeah.
And then that's the reason we are not giving it any time right now. So anybody who wants to take up the course, they have to either learn it live, or maybe if somebody says, I don't have a time, your time and my time is not matching, then they can go with a self-paced, but the recording will follow on a daily basis. Whenever we are done with the program, we'll upload that and you'll get access to the recording. Okay, but whatever was there in the old, we are basically removing them off. All the old recordings, we're deleting it permanently from our albums, because we don't want to teach. We are trying to replace everything with whiteboard, because I believe that makes more sense, right?
True, absolutely.
Exactly.
No, there was another update for you, just to add on to what you were saying. See, we had about 20 petabytes of data. I'm just giving you a real scenario here, okay? And we had to migrate this data to the cloud. We had done it, right? So a lot of people think, right, that this data science is a new age stuff and everybody wants to do it, right? And as you rightly said, there's a vacuum between, data and data science, which means for every data science project to work, right, you need organized and well-structured data available, right? So there are very few people who are able to do that. That is where the data engineering comes into picture.
Yes.
Where if you have small or big quantity of data, right? If you're able to present this data in a meaningful manner, that is where you're going to work upon your DS, your algos, your AI. Now everything comes into picture there.
Yes, yes.
So there is a huge vacuum in the industry,
exactly,
where nobody is able to identify.
Yes. Now I'll tell you, like when I was working with one of the previous product-based company, a startup, I used to work with a data scientist. Their job was to write some model, and our job was to implement that on a larger scale.
Correct.
Right. So a data scientist, what they do, they will basically tell you, okay, given a let's say a image, classify if it is a human, like male or female, probably. Okay.
Correct.
Now they have done their solution, right? But then their solution will work only on small scale.
Small scale, correct.
Right. And now this has to be implemented on a large scale. And
yes.
And now you need a data engineer who can process the data in petabytes.
Quick first. Absolutely. You see, when you speak about gigabytes of data, right, that is fine.
Yes.
For a POC, gigabytes of data is fine.
Right? Yes.
For a working product, you can have, terabytes of data. But when you speak about large scale data, right, about petabytes of range, you'll hardly get anybody who's actually giving you more optimized data.
Exactly. And optimizing is something, which do not have any theory, I'll say.
Absolutely.
Because it depends on your trial and error, right? You do one thing and record the improvement. You do another thing, record the improvement, and do a lot of things. And then you stick to something. Okay, this is what is acceptable.
Absolutely. And even the block size also would matter, right? When it comes to your optimization, as rightly spoke, Ravi is actually speaking about optimization.
Yeah.
Again, the file size also matters a lot.
Exactly.
And sometimes, people will have tiny files.
Yes.
And when you're working with tiny files, that's the painless thing that anybody can work around. I've seen data which comes in files, which is as low as, in kilobytes. Okay. And there are block size we had in megabytes also. So the time taken to process these two files will make a huge difference. So that's where, we as engineers and architects, comes into picture and give them an optimized code that will help them to process any kind of data.
Correct.
It could be structured, semi-structured, unstructured data.
Yes, exactly.
But again, nobody is able to do it in the industry.
Yes.
We have people who are able to generate it. People are ready to store it, but the vacuum here is the organized big data files.
Yes. So
I strongly believe, that is where you come into picture and help in many budding talents, who could come up shining. That's the vacuum the industry needs, and probably we are at the right place at the right time.
Yeah, I have started this program platform from 2014. Okay, and then
right.
Earlier I was not completely into YouTube because I did not know a lot of digitalized stuff. I was doing it one-on-one training, but then I thought I have to take it to the next level, and I started, making it big, creating some videos, put it on the YouTube channel. And if you look into our YouTube channel, most of the YouTube channels, most of the videos are completely, on coding, completely on concepts. We did not create any fancy things.